Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Isaac from Guns for Everyone. This video is way overdue, so I apologize. I should have done this a long time ago, but I saw another video on YouTube and I was like, duh, I should have gotten this done a while ago, and now I'm doing it. Before I get started with this, just a reminder: Guns for Everyone is suing the state of Colorado, and we need help with that in the form of funds and also plaintiffs. If you're an instructor and you're watching this, please contact us at gunsforeveryone.com. If you just go to the Contact Us page, and we'll tell you what we're looking for, what we need from instructors. For those of you who have spare money, whether that's a couple bucks or whether that's a couple $1,000, we need your help with fighting this lawsuit. It's going to be expensive. It already has been expensive, and we feel we've got a really good shot at beating the state on this new concealed carry law issue, but we are going to need your guys' help to do that. So you can find that at gunsforeveryone.com/legal-fund. I'll put the link in the description, and you can go donate there. Before you even watch the rest of the video, just drop down there and throw some value back towards us to help cover that lawsuit. One of the saddest things about gun owners is that they just don't get involved in defending their rights. In Colorado, the way we are defending our rights successfully, generally speaking right now, is through the courts, but it's an expensive process, and it requires your guys' participation in the form of cash money. So let's get this started. This video is what kinds of things, or what should you bring to your concealed carry training class. If you're taking the class with Edgar, it's going to be called Intuitive Defensive Shooting. If you take the class with me, it is going to be Defensive Shooting Fundamentals. It's the same class, just different name, and that's not important. But if you're signed up for the defensive shooting classes with either one of us, I'm going to go through what you need to bring, and I'm going to go through some of the things that would be a good idea for you to bring. First and foremost, obviously, you need to bring a gun. Bring the gun that you have. You don't need to go out and buy a new gun for this, but sorry, it's still a little early, and my brain's not working yet, so I need some coffee. Bring the gun you have. However, if you have multiple guns, or you haven't purchased a gun yet and you're planning on buying one before coming to the class, we recommend a modern striker-fired handgun in 9mm. That's the primary recommendation. If you come to any of our concealed carry classes where we talk about why we would recommend that kind of gun, we can get into it there. You can get into it in the comments if you want. If you're like, why 9mm? Why a striker-fired gun? Why can't I use my grandfather's old Italian Beretta that came from the war? Please discuss it in the comments. I'll answer your questions in the comments. But modern striker-fired handgun. So what do we got down here? Glock 19, great example. Glock 19, 9mm striker-fired handgun. So you need your 9mm, you need your handgun. You need magazines to go in that gun. At least 3. If you are having trouble finding magazines before a class, you can reach out to us and say, I don't know where to get magazines. I'll give you some links. I'll push you to the right gun shop to get you some magazines, but please bring enough magazines to the class. It really helps the class go much smoother for yourself as well as for everybody else in the class. Double stack magazines, we would ask you to bring 3 of these. If your gun is a single stack magazine, here's an example, and this magazine only holds 8 rounds, we really ask you to bring 5 of these if you can. If your grandpa lent you his 1911 and you're bringing that, this magazine happens to go to a Bersa BP9cc. Bring 5 of these if you can. I understand, that magazines cost money, but if you're serious in any way, sorry, I've got my goddamn dog leaves his hair all over the place and it just finds its way into your mouth. If you're serious about learning how to use your gun, and I don't mean that you're going to become John Wick, I mean that you are serious about being a responsible gun owner and training with your gun to the point where you have a good understanding of how your firearm works and how to use it, in a defensive context. Um, you are investing in that when you buy things like magazines. So you will use these. You might even lose one or two of these at some point, and you're going to be grateful that you had more to fall back on. So 3 of double stack magazines or 5 of the single stack magazines. All right. The next thing you're going to need is a holster. Um, Get a good quality holster. Do not bring shit to the classes. I understand budgets are a constraint, and I'm not going to tell you to like go into debt to bring a holster. But if you're going to spend money on a holster, do not buy something cheap and worthless. This is an example of an outside the waistband holster, and generally speaking, that's what we'd like you to bring is an outside the waistband holster, just for safety's sake and for moving the class along a little bit more smoothly. If you carry already, or you've had experience carrying inside the waistband, you can bring your inside the waistband holster. Just be aware of safety issues with that. Just be aware of if that holster doesn't really fit you that well, and you're having to really find the holster with the gun. That's not going to work, and we're going to pull that out and have you use something else. So, a holster. This one is made out of Kydex. You can get injection molded plastic ones. You can use leather ones. Please try to avoid using shitty holsters like this. These, I will use these in the class if I need to, if somebody didn't bring a holster or they don't have the right holster and we have to use something like this. But in the class, the biggest problem with a holster like this is it's not going to give you good repetitions on your gear because this is so different from what you would typically use as a holster. So please bring a good holster for your gun. Again, if you need some help finding recommendations on a holster, you can always reach out to us and we'll do what we can to help you. By the way, the more modern your gun is, the more common your gun is, the way easier it is is going to be to find a holster. So if you bought like a Beretta Neos and you show up to the class, or you want to try to find a holster for that before the class, good luck. It's going to be more difficult to find a holster for that gun just because it's not a very common gun. So there are a lot of great options out there, and I understand people like to, be unique and special and snowflakes and whatever, but just buy a common gun. I mean, yeah, buy a common gun. Don't buy weird shit. At least for your first gun, don't buy weird shit. If you want to buy weird shit for all your collectible stuff, or you get deep into the hobby of buying and owning guns, fine. But bring normal shit to the class, please. Okay, holsters, belts. So there's a lot of different styles of belts. What prompted this video today was this guy was talking about, essential things to bring to your pistol class, and he pulled out his basic belt, and his basic belt was like a $300. No, I take that back. It was probably more like $400 or $500 setup belt, and it's like called a battle belt. You don't need a fucking battle belt in our class. You just need a belt that can hold the holster. So this is an example of a rigid belt. Rigid belts are preferred because they hold the holster in place easier and they make your whole training experience better. This is an example of a rigid belt. This is an example of a regular belt. This is just a leather belt. This will work fine. You can bring this to the class. As long as it fits you, this is fine. If you brought your Holly Hobby, punk rock belt from Hot Topic made out of bonded leather, that might break. Like that's happened before. We've had belts break. Bring a reasonable belt. Go into your mom's closet and find the one that she used to beat you with. That'll be fine. That should work well. And yeah, so I've got some other belts in here, but please bring your own belt, because if I have to give you a belt, pretty good chance it's not going to fit. So, all right. After that, you're going to need ear protection. The class will be a lot easier for you if you buy electronic ear protection. Electronic ear protection allows you to hear everything that is going on around you with no problem, except gunshots, which will turn the noise the noise mitigating feature on the electronic ear pro. If you don't know what electronic ear pro is, just after this video is over, just jump on the internet and say, what is electronic ear pro? This right here, this Walker's Ear Pro, I think this was like 25 or 30 bucks. I got the cheap ones. The cheap ones are fine. They're not going to last maybe as long as a more expensive pair, but you use these not very often. You don't need to spend a lot. But these are really helpful for being on the range because when I'm talking or when Edgar's talking and you want to be able to hear us without having to take off your ear pro, this is really useful. You don't need electronic ear pro. You can get away with just some 50-cent foamies. That's fine. That's what I wear during the classes is the foamies. But again, it'll be harder for you to hear everything else going on around you. And you have to keep taking these out and putting these in. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So I'll tell you later why I use these for myself. This is the cheap Ear Pro. This is $4 at Harbor Freight. Not electronic, but just throw it on, take it off when somebody's talking, throw it back on. It's fine. So you can get away with these, and that's okay. All right, eye pro. If you wear glasses or sunglasses, that will be fine for the purposes of our class. If you don't wear glasses, then you're going to need to bring some eye protection with you. Just go get the cheap eye pro from Harbor Freight or Walmart or whatever, $3 or $4. But you're going to need something to protect your eyes, so bring your eye pro. And then the last thing you're going to need is your ammo. 300 to 500 rounds for our classes. Generally speaking, I can't remember the last time somebody came to one of my classes and shot 500 rounds. 500 rounds is definitely at the top end, but a minimum of 300 bring to the class. So that's what you must bring to the class. I wrote down a list of things that are a good idea to bring to the class so I don't forget. A notepad and a pen. Something to take notes on. 8 hours of shooting and lecturing. There's a lot of information that we're going to cover in there. You're not going to remember it all. There's no way you're going to remember it all. If you're a good note taker, though, you can preserve some of that information in a notebook. Probably something that you can fit in your pocket so that you can take it with you back and forth from the shooting line back to the staging area. But something to take notes on, very helpful. And of course, a pen or a pencil to go with that. A hat. My classes are done in Southern Colorado. It's hot as shit out there. We had a class a couple weeks ago out there, and it was first weekend of October, and it was 88 degrees, I think was the high that day. Lots of sunshine. Bring a hat. Regular hat like this is fine. And this allows you to put your ear pro, where did I just throw that? To wear your ear pro over the hat. There's a benefit there. For me, I've done this long enough, I like to hide from the sun. So I'm going to put on my big, goofy surfer hat. Wow, no wonder my wife hates this thing so much. I am not shy about hiding from the sun, so I will wear whatever it takes to do that. Obviously, if you wear something with a brim all the way around, a boonie hat or something like that, the over-the-ear pro is not going to work. That's why I wear the foamies, because I'm more concerned about the sun damage than I am about the convenience of my ear pro. But it's really important that you consider hiding from the sun during this class and not end up purple with a sunburn. On that note, also, long sleeves. This is like an athletic shirt with long sleeves. You can wear a flannel. If you drive a Tacoma, you're definitely welcome to wear your flannel. If you, any long sleeve, just remember it is going to get hot, so you do want something probably that breathes well. But the point here is you should be planning to hide from the sun. You will get sunburned in my class if you do not hide from the sun. So wear long sleeves if you can, and prepare for that. I bring a Band-Aid kit. This is a boo-boo kit. This is, I burned myself or I got a splinter or something like that. If you got your own, great. I bring one for the class, so you don't have to really worry about that. I got that covered. I also have a medical kit, a trauma kit. If you have your own trauma kit, you're more than welcome to bring your own trauma kit. I have the one for the class that we use. But considering that you're always responsible for your own safety, it's not a bad idea for you to have your own trauma kit. So tourniquet and medical kit. Okay, on the note of hiding from the sun, sunscreen is a good idea. So, sunscreen is very helpful. Not only sunscreen, but also might not be a bad idea to bring some bug spray. Um, it's the high desert. The bugs we have are assholes, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to mitigate that with some bug spray. So, if you want to bring that, that would be great. What else do we have on the list here? Lots of water. More than you think you need. At least a gallon, I would recommend, of water for yourself, and some way to keep it cool. So it's nice to drink. It doesn't need to be cool, but definitely bring water. The number one medical issues that we've had out on the range in the last 10 years have been heat related. So definitely plan to drink water and to drink lots of water. While I sit here and drink coffee and tell you to drink water. All right. Um, Tools. Anything necessary for your gun. So if you have a red dot on your gun, you're going to want to make sure you bring the tools to adjust the sights on the red dot, and if you must, remove the red dot from the gun. So typically that's like a little Torx kit or something like that, but make sure you have the tools needed to service your gun. And that also goes with cleaning equipment. If you have a red dot, bring something to clean the red dot with in case it gets dirty, or you drop some sweat into the reticle or to the emitter window. That would definitely ruin your day if you don't have some way to clean that. What else? Oh, and bring some lube for your gun. Typically, we don't have to worry about this stuff, but when it does happen and somebody does need to lube their gun, um, that's because the gun's not running. So we got to make sure the gun's running. So bring something to keep your gun running. You can bring a whole cleaning kit if you want. It's not really necessary, generally speaking, but some way to lube up that gun. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. Um, the class goes much smoother when everybody has the right equipment. Oh, something I forgot to mention about the firearm. Modern striker fired handgun with little to no modifications on it. I say little to no modifications because, like on this gun, the grip is stippled. That's a modification, but it doesn't affect the function of the firearm in any way. The modifications we want to stay away from are like aftermarket barrels, aftermarket triggers, ridiculously oversized slide locks, and things like that. These things, when we start training with the guns, we see how often these things actually lead to more problems than they do solving problems. So you get a different barrel, and all of a sudden your cases don't want to eject. You get a different trigger, and now you've somehow defeated a safety device that's supposed to be on the gun. You bring a magazine or a oversized slide lock, and all of a sudden, every single time you're supposed to be at slide lock, you end up with a closed gun. So limit the modifications. If you put a red dot on your gun, that's fine. If you can, make sure it's zeroed before the class. We don't really make a lot of time in the class to zero any red dots, so it'd be much better for you if your gun was zeroed before you got to the class. Other than that, donations. Don't forget that. That's an important part of our classes. We try to do as much as we can for free, and that means that our margins are very low and very narrow, and donations are what keep the operation running. If you appreciate the value you get from our classes, return that value back to us. If you've heard of the value for value model, it's one of the ways we kind of operate is value for value. So I'm not charging you for the class. However, a responsible way to interact with our classes is if you did get value out of it and you can return value back to us, then do it. It's you participating in what you got from the class. It's you showing support for what we do. It's you taking responsibility and credit for the work that we do. So come prepared to donate. I'm not saying you have to donate, but think ahead on that topic, and help keep these classes running for everybody else. Donation amount, value is not something I can determine for you. Some people, $5 is all they have, and that's all the value that they can give, and that's fine. And some people, $500 is the value that they can give. $500 is not even the biggest donation that we've ever gotten in our classes. So I can't determine value for you. That's your job to determine that. But whatever value you got, please return it back to us. And I think that's a more honest way of conducting business with people. And I think it's also gives people the opportunity to decide for themselves what something really is worth to them. So most important, bring a gun, bring the right required gear, but also be prepared to help these classes continue going forward in the future. All right, I think that's all I got. This video is almost 21 minutes long. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys in the classes in the future. And this is Isaac for Guns for Everyone. Go check out Edgar's channel. Edgar's the main Guns for Everyone's channel, and he's got the really good juicy stuff. I feel like an amateur every time I talk to him. I feel like an amateur every time I watch him produce a video. He's got the good stuff. So go check out the main Guns for Everyone YouTube channel and learn some stuff over there. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out.